Good afternoon. So let us revise some of the basic concepts which we discussed in earlier lectures. So first of all, we discussed the inclusion map is continuous in one of the lectures. So A is a subset of X. X is a topological space. Then any subset A of X, we can define the subspace topology in which every set is those sets are open which are intersection of A with some open set of X. So the subset of A is open in the subspace topology if that subset is equals intersection of A with some open subset of X. So that is the subspace topology on A. And if I have an inclusion map J from A to X where A is a subset of X, then this function is continuous. So every inclusion, so inclusion function is basically kind of identity function. It sends same element to itself, A to A, small a to small a, and this function is continuous if we consider subspace topology on the subset, right? So here on A we are considering subspace topology, right? So this is first spec which we are going to use today, and some more things we discussed earlier regarding open sets and closed sets. So the function is open if it's a image of every open set is open, right? So that is the definition of open set of open function, and similarly closed function is defined as image of every closed set is closed, then the function is closed, right? So these are the basic definitions which we have discussed earlier. In the last lecture we discussed some examples of connected and disconnected species. So a topological space X is disconnected if it has a separation U1 and U2, which are the disjoint subsets of X, which are non-empty also. And we discussed this result that any continuous image of a connected space is connected. So such a property is called topological property. So what is meaning of a topological property? So a property is called a topological property if it behaves well under a continuous map, right? So here is the first example which we discussed in the previous lecture, that if I have a continuous function and under which uh, if I take image of a connected space, then the output space which we are getting is also a connected space. So that means connectedness is a property which is preserved under the continuous function. So therefore that property is known as the topological property. So usually, so let me write down the definition. So a property P is called topological property if for any homeomorphism f from a topological space X to Y, is given and X has property P, then Y has property P. So this is the condition of the given property P is a topological property or not. So what is the example? Example is that connectedness is the topological property. So there are many properties which are preserved under continuous function. So this is one of them. So how we will check this is a topological or property or not. So first we have to consider let f from x to y be a homeomorphism from the topological space X onto a topological space Y. So F is a homomorphism, and suppose X is connected topological space. And what we want to show that Y is connected. So if we prove that Y is connected, then connectedness is a topological property. So we already know that from a result which we proved, we know that f of x is connected, right? Why? Because f is a homeomorphism. Homeomorphism means f is continuous as well as its inverse is also continuous. So since f is continuous and the domain is connected space, using that theorem we will get that fx is also a connected space. So here we can write that because f is continuous. And now since f is onto function, every homeomorphism is a bijective function. So therefore f is onto function, we know that fx is exactly y. Fx is exactly the codomain y. So range equals to y and range is connected, so therefore y is connected. So what we proved is we started with a homeomorphism and we assumed domain is connected and we proved that codomain is connected. So therefore the connectedness is preserved under the homeomorphism. So essentially what we use here is we use that connectedness is preserved under the continuous function, right? So topological property means what? Topological property means the property which is preserved under homomorphism, or in other words under the continuous function. So this is the first example which we have seen, which is a topological property, which is connectedness. Later on we will see that compactness we will study, and that is also a topological property. So using this, what we will get is, if I know what is X is a connected space, and if I know about a homeomorphism, X is homomorphic to some another topological space, then that new topological space will automatically be the connected space. So therefore homeomorphisms are important. Homeomorphisms are analog of isomorphisms. So groups we use isomorphisms, vector space we use isomorphisms. So isomorphism of group preserve group structure, group operations, and isomorphism of vector spaces preserve vector space operations. The same way here, this is a homeomorphism, means bijective function which preserves the topology. So that means it preserves the continuity. So F is continuous, its inverse is also continuous. For vector spaces, F is a homomorphism, inverse is also homomorphism. Right. So this was the regarding the topological property, and now let us recall the product topology. So if X and Y are topological spaces, then if I take any element X of X, then I can define a particular subset of X cross Y defined by so how it is defined? It is defined as X cross Y is the ordered pair XY belongs to X cross Y such that Y is element of capital Y, right? So in particular, if I take I fix any element of X and I consider A cross Y, then this is what this is A comma Y such that Y is any arbitrary element of Y. So what does it represent? Let us say, for example, I am in R2. So I have x-axis and y-axis. So here what is happening is my x coordinate is fixed, it is A, and I'm changing all the values of y. So essentially what I will get is I will get the line, right? And you know all these points has x coordinate A. So for example, I take 1, then this will be the point A comma 1, right? So and what is this point? This is A comma 0. We are changing the basically second coordinates. So this is the equation of we know that these all points create are on a line which is x equal to A, right? So this is a kind of analog of the vertical line in R2. Of course, we are not in R2 here because here we are taking subset of x cross y where x and y are any arbitrary topological space. Therefore, we have defined this general set. Similarly, we can define the horizontal line also. So analog of horizontal line is we will fix any element of y now. So consider the set x cross b defined as the ordered pair xb such that x belongs to capital X. So here we are fixing y coordinate. So if I consider capital X, capital Y to be R, then we are in R2, right? So in that case, if I fix any coordinate B, any element of B on Y, B is element of capital Y, and then I change all X, right? So what I will get is I will get the set B cross X, and this is what this so this is a horizontal line, and this vertical line basically is x cross capital Y, right? So essentially these are not lines. We are actually in the Venn diagram x cross y, right? But whenever x is r and y is r, this is nothing but x cross y is r2, and in that case they are lines, right? So this is actually a cross y because we have taken the first coordinate to be a, right? So these sets will play an important role to identify when capital X cross Y is a topological space. So for that, first let us study one basic result, and then we will discuss that whether X cross Y is connected or not. If X and Y is connected, then X cross Y always connected. So we'll prove one lemma that says that suppose X and Y be topological spaces, and let X cross Y be a subset of capital X cross Y defined above for some fixed element X in X. So instead of A belongs to X, I have considered X belongs to X, which is a fixed element. So small x is not changing, now it is fixed. Right, so if there is confusion, we can actually take it is to be A. Right, so then we define subspace topology on A cross Y as a subset of this whole space capital X cross capital Y. So as a subset of X cross Y. So now what we want to prove? We want to prove that this A cross Y as a subspace is homeomorphic to Y. So this notation we will use for homeomorphism. Right, it is like isomorphism, same notation we are using, but here we are discussing topology. So this is a bijective continuous function. Its inverse is also continuous function. So this we want to prove that it is a homeomorphism. So first of all, we will discuss that what is the map which we want to prove, which will give us the homeomorphism, right? So let us define that map. So let f from A cross Y to Y defined by so it is defined by so f acting on element of A cross Y. So every element of A cross Y is of the form A comma Y, where Y is element of capital Y, and then output is element of Y. So simply we will take it is to be Y. So this way we are defining this function f, and we want to prove that f is a homeomorphism, right? So that means f is 1 1 on 2, it is continuous, and its inverse is also continuous. So first thing what we'll use is we will consider, note that A cross Y is a subset of X cross Y, right? Because every element of A cross Y is a ordered tuple, and every ordered tuple is a subset, it is element of X cross Y. So A cross Y is a subset of X cross Y. So therefore we can define the subspace topology on A cross Y. So define the subspace topology on A cross Y is a subset of X cross Y. So X is a topological space, Y is a topological space. That means X cross Y is also topological space. The topology on X cross Y is the product topology, which we have defined earlier, and that is the topology generated by the basis elements U cross V, where U is open in X and V is open in Y. So now we got a subspace A cross Y of X cross Y, and then we know that if I have a subspace of a topological space, I can define inclusion function which is continuous. So therefore the inclusion function J from A cross Y to X cross Y defined by, so inclusion function maps every element to itself. So it is defined as J of A comma Y will be A comma Y, right? For every A element of A and Y element of Y. So this maps sends same element to same element, and from that known result which we have derived, we know that this inclusion function is continuous, right? So using this result, we know that the inclusion function is always continuous if I consider subspace topology on A. So by considering subspace topology on A cross Y, this function is continuous, and we know the other map which is also continuous. So that is the projection map. So here projection we are considering on the second coordinate. So it is pi 2 projection defined by pi 2 applied on X comma Y is same as, is defined as Y, right? So it sends xy to y, second coordinate. So projection on the second coordinate is continuous function. So we have already verified that if I have a product space X cross Y, and if I take the projection on the second coordinate, then it is always continuous function. It is open, it is also continuous function. So now what we got is, we got a function, therefore the function so we first function we started is sending A comma Y to a comma y, right? So from x a cross capital Y to x cross y is the inclusion function, which is continuous, and then we have applied the projection map that will give us y, which is element of capital Y. So this map is exactly our map which we have defined earlier, f function. So the function is the so what we call is the composition of two continuous function is also continuous. So pi2 is continuous, j is continuous, so pi2 composition j is also continuous. And note that pi2 composition j when I applied on a comma y, I will get y, right? So this is the same is the function f a comma y is y. Alright, f also sends a comma y to y, and pi2 composition j also sends a comma y to y. So therefore f is pi2 composition j is a continuous function. So why it is continuous function? Because pi2 composition j is continuous function, and we know that f is pi2 composition j. So pi2 composition j is continuous, therefore f is continuous function. So let us go back and recall what we have proved. So what we started is we started by defining a function f from a cross y to y. And it is defined as f of ay to be y. So this function we proved is a continuous function, and we want to show that this function is a homeomorphism. So by the definition of the function, it is clear that this function is bijective, because whatever y is given, uh, you can always consider a comma y, so that a comma y, when you apply f, you will get the same y, right? So therefore this function is onto function, and on the other hand it is 1 1 also, because if you take a comma y1 equal to a comma y2, then that will give you y1 equal to y2, and therefore f of a comma y1 equal to f of a comma y2. So this is a bijective function which is continuous. Now only thing we need to check to prove it is a homeomorphism is that its inverse is continuous function. And inverse is continuous function is the same condition that the function is open function, right? Because to show that f inverse is continuous, we have to show f inverse of open set is open, and that is same as image of open set is open, right? So only thing we need to check is we need to check f is a open map. So to prove, so let me just write down quickly that clearly f is bijective. So to prove f is a homeomorphism, we need to check that f inverse is continuous, right? So F inverse is continuous. So therefore, uh, and F inverse is continuous if and only if F is a open map, right? So this is a general condition. If we show that F is open, that means F inverse is continuous, and F inverse is continuous, that is same condition that F is an open map for every function F. This is true. So we need to check that F is an open map. So F is open map, that means it maps every open set to open set, right? So every open set of domain to every open set of the codomain. And we have proved that to show any function is open, we need to just consider on the basic open sets, right? So it is enough to prove that image of every basic open set is open in X cross Y. So here basic open set in the domain. So and every basic open set in A cross Y, its image is open subset in X cross Y, right? So in other words, what we need to prove, in other words, we shall check that. So if I take any open set in A cross Y in the subspace topology, right? So we want to show that image of any open set in A cross Y as a subspace. So in the subspace, we know that every basic open set is of the form basis element intersection the subset. So subset is this one. So any open basic open set is of the form A cross Y intersection U cross V, where U cross V is a basic open set in X cross Y. Right. So this is the basic open set in the subspace topology. Subspace topology on A cross Y. So what we want to show is a image of this set is open set in open subset in X cross Y. So this is what we want to prove. So let us find out what is the intersection A cross Y intersection U cross V. So if you recall, A cross Y is what? A cross Y is the vertical line. So if I want to, and U cross V is what? U cross V is a kind of rectangle. If you remember the lecture of the product topology, we have drawn the diagram of U cross V, where U cross V is a rectangle, right? Interior of the rectangle, and A cross Y is a vertical line. So now there are two cases. If I have a vertical line and if I have a rectangle, either the vertical line intersects rectangle or it won't intersect rectangle. right? So if it won't intersect rectangle, then the intersection is null set. So note that A cross Y intersection U cross V is equal to null set if A is not in the in U, and if A belongs to U, then the intersection is a kind of segment, right? So intersection of line with rectangle is a line segment, and then that line segment is exactly nothing but A cross V. So quickly, if you want to, we can draw the diagram. So this is U, this is V, and see, for example, this is my line x equal to A. Then the intersection of this rectangle with this line is this set, which is exactly A cross V. So now we have two sets which we got as an intersection. What we want to show is that both of these set, the image is open. So clearly f of phi is open because it is a null set, and in other case also f of A cross V is so what is the function f? The function f sends the element a comma y to y, right? So therefore, if I take any element of this form a cross v, and if I apply f, then what I will get is I will get v, right? Because f of ay is y. So this is easy to check, and then we know that V is open because we are taking the set U cross V, which is a basic open set in X cross Y. When we consider the subspace topology, U cross V is a basic open set, so therefore U is opening X and V is opening in Y. So what we got is we got the f of this set is V, and V is open subset of Y. So in both the cases, whether we have f of y or f of this set, the image under f is always of open set, right? So I have written something wrong here. This the image of this set is a subset of y, not x cross y, because f is a map from a cross y to y. So f is an open set. Open function. So it is an open function, therefore f is a homeomorphism. So now since f is a function from a cross y to y and f is a homeomorphism, we can see that a cross y is isomorphic to y. So one small remark we will get that since as we have proved a cross y is isomorphic to y, similarly we can prove that if I take x cross any fixed element of y, and that is also homeomorphic to the x, right? So here we prove that x equal to a line is isomorphic to y axis. Here we prove that y equal to b line is isomorphic to the x-axis, right? So these are the generalization of these two results which will be helpful to prove that uh, x cross y is a connected topological space whenever x and y are connected spaces. So let us finally prove that result. So what is the statement? Statement is that if x and y are connected topological spaces, then x cross y is also connected topological space with respect to the product topology. So here this particular result is important, what we proved just now. So let us first assume that suppose x cross y is not connected, so it is a disconnected space, and whenever we have a disconnected space we get a separation. So therefore we can write x cross y as a union of w and w prime, where w and w prime are non-empty, open, disjoint subspace, subsets of x cross y. So here topology which we are these sets are open with respect to the product topology, because on x cross y we have a product topology. So now what we have is we have divided the whole x cross y into two subsets w and w prime which are disjoint. So now here we have kind of x-axis and y-axis, right? So what we'll do is we'll find elements A so that x equal to A line. So x equal to A means A cross Y. These sets belongs to W because now W and W prime covers entire space x cross Y. Alright, so it is like W and W prime are disjoint sets which covers the whole R2 and they are disjoint. So in R2 actually we know that it is not possible to cover the whole space R2 with two sets W and W prime which are disjoint. So actually that we are proving as a special case of this result also. So what we will do is define a set U to be set of elements x in capital X so that x cross y is subset of W. So note that . the set note that U is non-empty. So no, no. So we know that W is non-empty actually. W is non-empty. So what is W? Let us go back. So W is a subset of X cross Y, and W dash, or if you want, we can consider W dash is not a complement of W. It is just, these are just two sets. So we can also call it W1 and W2. So we have mentioned that these sets are non-empty. So they are non-empty means what? They will contains at least one point of X cross Y. So suppose I have a point a comma B, which is element of W, because W is a non-empty set, so it always contains such element. So once it contains a comma B, and so therefore it also contains A cross Y. So A cross Y is subset of W. So why this is true? Because W is a non-empty subset of R2, and A cross Y is a connected subspace of X cross Y. So because A cross Y is a connected subspace of X cross Y. So if A cross Y is not contained entirely in W, then so let me write as a demarc. So if A cross Y is not contained in W, then A cross Y intersection W and A cross Y intersection. So this is W1 actually. W1 is non-empty. This is W1. W1 is non-empty. So this intersection W2 will give us a separation. Separation of X cross Y. Because these two sets are open in subspace topology and both are non-empty. If A cross Y is not contained in W1, that means there is some point of A cross Y which is also in W2. So if that is happening, then these both sets are non-empty. We already know W1 intersection W2 is null set. That means intersection of these two sets is also null set, and they are open in the subspace topology. So this will give us, if this is true, if this is true, then A cross Y is disconnected. But we know that A cross Y is connected, therefore A cross Y is entirely contained in W1 or it is entirely contained in W2. So without loss of generality, we are assuming it is contained in W1, and therefore we get A cross Y is a subset of W1. And once A cross Y is a subset of W1, it contains some point of the form A cross Y. So therefore A is element of
Sir, we have class now.
Pardon?
We have class.
Yeah, you have class, but you joined my class at 4:05. I started my class at 4:05, so I will go 5 minutes more.
No, sir, I have joined at 4.
See, now lecture is going. We will discuss after the lecture. I will take 5 minutes more. So A is a element of U. So what is U here is that this set. So what are the elements of U? The elements of U are the elements of the first coordinate space capital X such that X cross Y is a subset of W1. Right? So once we have an element of U, that means U is a non-empty set. Right? So this gives us U is a non-empty set. And once we have a non-empty set, then what it says is that we have a element in U. What are the elements in U? Elements on U are the points such that the vertical line belongs to W1. What are the elements of U? Elements of U are the elements A such that this vertical line is contained entirely in W1. So now what we will do is, since we know that there is at least one vertical line A cross Y which is a subset of W1, so therefore A belongs to U. So consider now the corresponding the set capital X cross Y. So Y is some fixed element of Y, right? So what is this this set? This set is defined as the tuple xy such that small y is element of capital Y, right? So clearly this point A comma Y is a subset of X cross Y. Right? So X cross Y is already contained, A cross A comma Y is already contained in W. So therefore this whole line X capital X cross Y, so therefore we get this whole line capital X cross Y is also belongs to U. So this happens. So this is true because uh, we already know that A comma Y is element of W1, right? Because this is entirely contained in W1. So every element of the form A comma whatever element of Y is always element of W1, and that will give us this element is in U. And so this is true because A comma Y belongs to W1, right? And once we have this thing, note that this is true for every Y. This is true for every y's element of capital Y. And once this is true for every y in Y, that means all the horizontal lines, what is x cross y? X cross y is the horizontal line. So therefore x cross y is a subset of U for all y in Y. So this is actually subset of subset of W1 actually. And this is small y. So what we proved is all the horizontal line is a subset of W1, and we have already noted that the vertical line is also subset of W1. So finally we will get that the whole space x cross y, which is union of y belongs to y, x cross small y, right? So because R2 we can write as a union of all horizontal lines, and each horizontal line is subset of W1, so it is contained in W1. So therefore W1 is x cross y, because W1 is a subset of x cross y, and that will give us W2 is null set, because W1 union W2 is an entire space, they are disjoint sets whose union is the whole space. So therefore we get a contradiction. So the contradiction comes from the assumption that x cross y is a disconnected space. So therefore x cross y is always a connected topological space. Okay, so let me stop today's lecture here.